Hutchison, Patrik Walker, and we've got all the action for you in 11v11 drills. Go ahead and take a look at all of the action right here. Got a little fussle over here, a little tussle.
You know, this makes for, I want to say, the fourth possible scuffle in the past 10 minutes between this full team drill and the pass rush combo drills on the other field a little bit earlier. Things are getting feisty out here today, Nicole.
Yeah, speaking about that pass rush scuffle over there, it was Albert Huggins actually in the middle of that pack.
Got a little handsy with the intern.
Got a little handsy. It's okay, though. We got Cooper Rush in at quarterback. Snoop Connor with a little bit of a burst. Excuse me, that was Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn, and you know what? One thing about it, Nicole, is Deuce Vaughn. Now that he's back in practice and in full pass, he's missed the past several practices with that hamstring injury. This is a great sign for him as far as possibly being available against the Raiders. He missed against the Rams. He really needs to get these practice reps in to help improve himself over year one.
Josh Ball in at guard.
Yeah, they definitely slid Josh Ball in at guard, actually effective last offseason. He started his career with the Cowboys on the edge as a tackle, and then they moved him on the inside, obviously with the continued emergence of a guy like Terrence Steele, and they had Tyron Smith at the time, and they were working in swing tackles. Obviously, the Jason Peters experiment went well. Jason Peters was able to come in and help save the Cowboys on at least one occasion. Those who watched the Houston Texans game, 97-yard comeback drive by Dak Prescott know exactly what I'm talking about.
Reminder, these are the twos if you are tuning in to Training Camp Live right now. And Deontay Burnett, what a catch from him, a dive and catch from him. You got to love what you're seeing from him so far throughout training camp.
Absolutely. Deontay Burnett, he came in with Kelvin Harmon, and we were able to see what Harmon can do in a game against the Rams. Fourth quarter, a couple of exciting catches, one getting yards after the catch, running through some guys. But Deontay Burnett, he's been making some plays out here in Oxnard as well. So 2 late acquisitions in the wide receiver room to help make things that much more spicy behind the Jalens, we'll call them.
And here go the ones. Brock Hoffman in at center, Ezekiel Elliott in at running back, and
Cavante
Turpin, sorry. Ref got it in the way
a little bit of a side judge. The guy's just doing his job. No worries there. But Cavante Turpin, Dak Prescott finds him. That connection has been on fire, and not just here in camp, but going back to mandatory mini camp and OTAs and just building off of last year. Cavante Turpin factors in to this wide receiver competition as well.
Take a look at Tyler Guyton. Obviously, he will be the starting center on Saturday against the Raiders. We got Tyron Billy Johnson in at receiver. Rico Dowdle, explosive. Just a real reminder, he had 3 carries, averaged 4.7 yards a carry against the Rams.
Is that good? Seems good.
I think that's kind of
Seems
good.
Good.
In football terms,
Rico
right?
Dowdle is doing some things. He looks great coming off of his career year last season, which was kind of predicated upon him remaining on the field. He did for most of the season, and he produced, and he looked great against the Rams. And I loved his patience on that particular play, allowing Jalen Tolbert to try to keep that block in front of him.
Dak Prescott looking, finds Brooks off to the side. He had a nice big catch against the Rams on the first drive of the game.
Early. Jalen Brooks,
so impressive,
showing that he can get it done no matter which quarterback for the Cowboys is behind center. Obvious chemistry with Dak Prescott. Go back and look at the Rams film. Cooper Rush finds Jalen Brooks deep down the left side to try to get the offense going early. And Jalen Brooks, as a matter of fact, is going to be one of the best wide receivers in this core in 2024. Absolutely. I said it.
You said it. We'll believe it. Dak Prescott trying to find Brandon Cooks. Nice little hit there on Brandon Cooks. Stays on his feet.
Good job there by the Rams defense and sniffing that out and closing in and deleting that, because those are the kinds of challenges the Cowboys need, and that's what is presented by Sean McVay as a team and Raheem Morris's defense. Is you're going to have to go up against some of these speedy linebackers. So it's good to see the Cowboys get this type of challenge in this type of scrimmage.
Ezekiel Elliott, the shotgun. You got to love the communication between Brock Hoffman and Dak Prescott. That's something that he's talked about all offseason long. Dak with the handoff to Zeke. Trips over his feet a little bit.
But great first move by Zeke. He the run was off to the right. He realized there were no lanes there. He plants his right foot and he gets left, and he turned what would have been a -1 into maybe a positive 2-yard gain, even though it's, Turf Monster got him a little bit. Turf Monster got him.
I love it. I love it. I like this Jalen Cropper.
One of the 3 Jalens.
Jalen Brooks. Tyron Billy Johnson on the other side. Dak scrambling for a few yards. Would have been a sack there.
One thing I noticed on that play, Kevontae Turpin and the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, they're using him a lot in motion, pre-snap motion, and that is always going to keep the opposing defense guessing because you can't not pay attention to a guy like Kevontae Turpin with his speed and quickness. So, again, going back to what I said earlier, the more chemistry he can build with Dak Prescott, the more opposing defenses have to respect that, especially with pre-snap motion.
Dak Prescott finds Deuce Vaughn in space. What about 5-yard gain there? You gotta love Deuce Vaughn. I mean, they're trying to use him in so many different ways, right? That's something that Mike McCarthy talked about, using him as a receiver in the passing game. You gotta just see a little bit more explosiveness though in the run game. What do you think about Deuce?
Well, they're doing what they can to figure out how to get the Deuce loose.
I like what you did there. That was good.
Struggled as a rookie as far as his opportunities. Missed some practices like we talked about with the hamstring injury, but they're trying him out at slot. They're moving him, getting him active out of the backfield, seeing what they have there. Brevin Spann-Ford, I believe, with that. And see, a guy like Brevin Spann-Ford, Nicole, he's going to make things that much more challenging in a good way for the Cowboys as they try to figure out their tight end room.
Ooh, and that tight end room battle is going to be very fun to watch as well. Of course, Jake Ferguson has a tight hold on that tight end 1 spot.
He is him.
He is him.
King Jake,
Love
if you will. But beneath Jake Ferguson, obviously Luke Schoonmaker's going to get the nod. But what happens below those two is what's being figured out.
Trey Lance in at quarterback right now. He kind of struggled a little bit against the Rams, but I think that people have to forget that he's only thrown about 800 passes since his high school career. And then you think about Dak. He threw about 500 in just 2023 alone. I mean, you got to give him some grace. A little bit of a difference there.
It was Trey Lance's first live action in almost 18 months, so some grace is allowed there. But it's also true that he's not going to have a lot of time to progress and show what he can do because he only has 2 preseason games remaining.
We've got the Rams offense right now. Stetson Bennett with the handoff.
Good job
and
by
then
the
Cowboys defense.
Yeah, their run defense this training camp has definitely taken a step forward over what we saw just last season. And the Cowboys have put some impetus on trying to improve that, especially a guy like Mike Zimmer came in and said that he learned early in his coordinating career that if you don't stop the run, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, in on that stop. He's been such a huge addition when you talk about run stopping, right? He's been improving in his pass rushing ability, but something about that run stopping ability that he brings so naturally to this Cowboys defense.
Which is why he draws so many comparisons to DeMarcus Lawrence right out of the gate.
Woo.
And more of that lovely run defense is what we're seeing, Nicole.
A little bit of Wanye Thomas in there on that stop.
Talk about somebody who's having a great camp. Wanye is most certainly one of those guys. Makes for a very deep safety room when you consider Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, what we're seeing Marquise Bell do, and Wanye Thomas as well in that mix. We've gone now from a Cowboys defense that not so many years ago couldn't figure out the safety position. Now they have arguably 4 starters.
Ooh, I mean, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, it's a great problem. I like those types of problems.
Stetson Bennett still at quarterback. It's good coverage from Josh DeBerry on the other side of the field.
DeBerry's shown some things as well in this camp. He has an interception not so many practices ago. And keep in mind, this is the same Stetson Bennett that the Cowboys were able to pick off 4 times on Sunday and nearly 5, and I could argue 6 opportunities to do so. So they definitely have a read on the former Georgia quarterback. And they're making things difficult for him out here as well, both on the ground with the handoffs and in the air with the throws.
We've got the twos coming out here, a little bit of Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback.
As he looks over and sees number 11 staring at him.
Team's always game planning for Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, that's why.
Speaking of number 11, teleports into the backfield to delete that play rather expeditiously. It's what Micah Parsons does, and that's why it's key to move him around and not just, put him and lock him into one particular position. The key is to make sure that he's being played in a versatile way, and he basically needs to be Waldo. The opposing offense, Nicole, needs to play Where's Waldo on every single snap.
Blake Corum, that was on the run there, the rookie draft pick for the Rams this year. Jimmy G back at quarterback. Blake Corum in the shotgun. A little motion there. That would have definitely been a sack from DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yes,
he
it would
has
have
been probably the best that he has ever been in his career. I mean, that's something that Mike McCarthy has really said as well.
And, that's saying a lot for a guy who just a couple seasons ago, even on the back end of his career, got a Pro Bowl nod. He is still playing at a Pro Bowl caliber, and he's doing for them on the defensive side what a healthy Tyron Smith was able to do for them on the offensive line. Difference being DeMarcus Lawrence, especially these past 2 or 3 seasons, has been able to remain on the field and remain available. He's going to be massive for what the Cowboys are able to do on the defensive line. So don't go forgetting about Tank. That tank is still full, in my opinion.
I see what you did there. That was a nice little.
I tried to cook it up a little bit.
You did. You've been in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We got Trayvon Diggs in action here on this rep.
Which is big in and of itself. Trayvon Diggs is doing a full team drills in a scrimmage against the Rams. If you want to know what his progress looks like, you're looking at it right now. And
Jimmy
number
G.
11.
Ooh, yet again. Just
at a certain point, even as an analyst, you kind of have to chuckle. Because what do you do if you're the opposing offense? What do you do when number 11 is on the opposite side of the field?
Absolutely nothing. That's the answer.
There's nothing you can do except hope that the Cowboys take the unwise move and put him at defensive end and leave him there for 50 straight snaps. Other than that, moving him around, he's difficult to account for, and it creates a lot of mismatches, as you're seeing right now.
And you saw earlier how you had Mike Zimmer had him in coverage a little bit. I mean, he's doing so many different things with, making teams question where number 11 is on the field.
And that's why, keeping to Micah Parsons, that's why he said he went into the lab, so to speak, this offseason, and he dropped some of those pounds. It was so that he could be able to drop back in coverage, so he can be moved around a little bit more, and so that he wouldn't wear down as the year rolls on. And he's looking, as crazy as it sounds, Nicole, he's looking faster and quicker than he has in the previous 3 seasons, and that should terrify offenses.
We've got the 2s still in here. Jimmy Garoppolo still in at quarterback. Blake Corum still at running back. Nice completion there from Jimmy G to Cooper Kupp.
I think what Sean McVay just did was answer our question. Do you know how you handle Micah Parsons? Is you run the play opposite of
Absolutely.
Micah Parsons.
I mean, that's what you got to do, right?
That's the only way. Just like on that play, that's the only way that play is happening. Is you go to the opposite side.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Training Camp Live. We'll have more coverage for you all week long leading up to the Raiders game on Saturday, but we'll see you all next week.